Joseph was brought down to Egypt, carried by traders into a strange land of power and wealth. Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, who bought him to serve in his household. The Lord was with Joseph, and all that he did prospered, so Potiphar trusted him completely. Joseph managed the house with wisdom, and Potiphar's estate flourished in his care. But Potiphar's wife set her eyes on Joseph, longing to draw him into sin. Joseph refused her, saying he could not betray his master nor sin against God. She caught his garment, but Joseph fled, leaving the torn cloth in her hand. She cried out to the household, accusing Joseph and holding his garment as false proof. When Potiphar heard her accusation, his anger burned, and Joseph was condemned. Joseph was cast into prison, yet even there, the Lord was with him. In prison, Joseph met Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, each troubled by dreams they could not understand. The cupbearer spoke of his dream, and Joseph explained it meant he would be restored to his service. To the baker, Joseph revealed that within days, he would be executed, just as the dream foretold. Joseph pleaded with the cupbearer, "When you return to Pharaoh's house, remember me." The cupbearer was restored to Pharaoh's service, just as Joseph had said, but he forgot Joseph. 2 full years passed, and Joseph remained forgotten in the prison, waiting in silence. One night, Pharaoh dreamed of 7 fat cows devoured by 7 thin ones. Pharaoh called his wise men, but none in Egypt could explain the meaning of his dreams. Then the cupbearer remembered Joseph, the Hebrew prisoner who had interpreted his dream. Joseph was quickly summoned from the prison to stand before Pharaoh. Pharaoh told Joseph of his troubling dreams, seeking wisdom no one else could give. Joseph said, "The dreams belong to God. He reveals what will surely come to pass." Joseph declared, 7 years of plenty will be followed by 7 years of famine. He advised Pharaoh, "Let a wise man store the surplus so the land will not perish." Pharaoh said, "Since God has shown you this, none is so wise as you. You shall be over my house." Pharaoh placed his own chain on Joseph and clothed him in garments of honor. Joseph was given authority as second in command, ruler over all the land of Egypt. Joseph rode in Pharaoh's chariot, and men cried before him, "Bow the knee." Joseph began to plan, storing grain in abundance to prepare for the famine to come. Joseph was given Asenath as his wife, and together they began a new chapter of honor and family. During the years of abundance, Joseph gathered grain like the sand of the sea. Joseph stored up food in every city, laying it aside for the years of famine. Then came the famine, and the land was scorched, with no harvest to be found. The people cried to Pharaoh for food, and he sent them to Joseph, who opened the storehouses. Joseph opened the storehouses and distributed food, giving grain to all who were hungry. All nations came to Egypt to buy grain, for the famine was severe in every land. Joseph's wise leadership saved countless lives, and his name became known among the nations. Joseph ruled as Pharaoh's prime minister, honored by the people and trusted above all. Through God's wisdom, Joseph guided Egypt, making it a refuge during the years of famine. From every land, people traveled to Egypt to buy grain, for the famine was very severe. Joseph organized the distribution with fairness, feeding both Egypt and the nations. Joseph kept careful records, ensuring no family was left without food. Beyond Egypt, famine ravaged villages, and families cried out for relief. Joseph's policies brought order, and the people bought grain to survive the famine. Joseph governed with wisdom, planning each step with care, guided by God's hand. Day and night, the storehouses worked, and Joseph's plan never failed. Egypt became the center of provision, and the nations streamed in for bread. Joseph's counsel guided Egypt with strength, making it a refuge in the famine. Through Joseph's leadership, multitudes were fed, and hope was restored in Egypt. Joseph oversaw every measure, ensuring Egypt's wealth was wisely preserved. Pharaoh honored Joseph, making him prime minister over the whole land. Joseph built a family in the land, and God blessed him with sons during the years of plenty. And so, in the time of famine, Joseph's own brothers came down to Egypt to buy food. Without knowing him, his brothers bowed before Joseph, fulfilling the dreams he once had. Joseph remembered his dreams, but he kept his identity hidden from his brothers. In the quiet, Joseph reflected on God's plan which had brought him from prison to power. With wisdom, Joseph managed Egypt's resources, and the nations were preserved. From every land, people came to Egypt, and Joseph's name was spoken with honor. Genesis chapter 39 to 41. God turns trials into triumphs, and he is faithful to fulfill his plan.